Hello everybody, and welcome to race 2 already. Of course, tonight here we at Brno in the Czech Republic, of course a FIA Grade 2 circuit. Yeah, and some of the guys already out there couldn't wait to get things going. But of course, I will leave that to my fellow commentator to tell you more. Of course, joining me as usual, not Fernando.
Hello, hello. We're in race 2 of season 2. So in the Czech Republic, we're actually following the Landel around circuit. It's already a lot of action out on track. I have a few drivers missing, unfortunately. Wazzy not here, Gavin not here, Muna not here.
Maybe was
really
he can.
Quick drivers.
Wow, someone really got nailed those tire balls. Yo, you see, just see tires fly. But yeah, what I was trying to say was he might still make the race, just missing practice. Let's hope. Fingers crossed.
Chen also out on circuit. Let's get some. That's up, brother. This match still in the pits. Judge still in the pits. As he's talking. No lap times as of yet. Obviously we have some AI drivers.
Yeah, filling up, of course, the gaps with those guys not being able to make it tonight. And hello, Muna. Nice of you to join us. Couldn't be on the track tonight, but he's definitely still watching the stream. So, of course, Muna and everyone else out there, as always, feel free to share your comments.
Obviously joining the stream from the birthplace of the Binder brothers, Potchefstroom.
A lot of support early days for Tokkie. Practice just a few minutes in, already a couple of Tokkie fans there.
Looking for the stream on my side. Oh, there we go.
Of course, just to remind everybody, first 5 races is with the V8 supercars. The second 5, of course, will be with the old touring cars. Looking forward to the race 5, of course, which is that 2-hour endurance race. That's going to be an interesting one. Okay, that's the best advice anyone can give him. Nice one, Marco. I do agree. All you need to do is just to keep it on the road. If you keep it clean, keep out of everyone else's trouble, you know, you just persevere, you can actually get some valuable points. And you don't know if the guy in front of you is going to retire or not. Briefly
had AD, I think, in the lobby. Saw his name pop up and then disappear.
I'm still trying to get in there.
Dockie's still in the pits.
Yeah. Still having to come out.
Not a long time to go, just 14.5 minutes remaining in the session. Yeah. The guys that haven't gotten out there might want to get out there.
Nice livery that. Nesmax, of course. Doesn't that remind you in some way of his Audi livery of last season?
Yeah, it does. The silver, red and black.
That's it. Sticking with that kind of livery.
Is it red or is it pink? Depends
Daniel,
which screen I look at.
2 hours are not that bad, trust me. 2 hours actually go quick. It's 5 hours and more because some of his guys have done 5 hours. Some of his guys actually attempted a 12-hour endurance. And two of the guys actually racing with us here, just a mere week, literally I think it was 2 weeks ago, they actually did a 24-hour race on this game, where they actually did like in real life, they did like relay. Both of them will go for a stint, take a break, next guy take over. So some of these guys actually are crazy when it comes to endurance racing.
2 hours, not too much of a stretch.
Ooh, back end, but nicely kept there by the judge.
Some of these guys will have done the F1, the 100% distance. That's about a 2 hour event.
Yeah, if you think about it, F1 counts down in laps, but if you think about it, 100% race distance, it's pretty much hour and a half, a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on the track. So yeah, you're already pretty much there.
And if it's raining in Belgium, it goes well over 2 hours.
Yeah, true that. Because rain also, lap times are slower, so obviously it takes longer to finish.
He now goes over the line to start his first attempt.
I wanted to say earlier, Valandel actually were looking good with that time of 2:02, and yet there goes Nismax 4 seconds faster, under to 157.4.
4.5 seconds, and got to ask, how much does he have left? You see, his main championship rival not here.
Hey, he have to cash in tonight, so he better also make sure he keeps it clean to get the points while his rival is out. Of course, the rival we're talking about there is Mr. Muna, and of course, if he can get his internet sorted and everything in the right place, I think Gaffby can also be a good contender. And you know what, and I won't even write off the Mott. With Toki. So yeah, so some of the guys looking forward to some battles for the judge and Toki again, like they did last week. A lot happening at the back of the grid compared to the front. Yeah, there was some action in the front, but I think more action at the back. So let's hope for the same. Thank you, Mr. Race Director. A roof cameo with Toki, just to give everybody an idea. Of course, this track is also well known for the guys who are, interested in bikes.
That's right. She currently hosts the Czech GP for MotoGP, and not sure if they're still there, but I know it was definitely a venue for World Superbikes. So both of the top categories of motorcycle visit this circuit, as well as obviously the Czech A1 Grand Prix. Did you enjoy A1 Grand Prix?
You know what, if you're used to F1, A1 was something to get used to. Of course, same type of engine, same performance, what. Cars were pretty much closer compared to F1, which made it a bit boring.
Yeah.
Because F1 is known for the guys got the best budget, you can do the best development.
South Africa.
And it was too short as well.
Hosted that at circuits. Initially hosted it at Kyalami and then moved it down to the streets of Durban.
That's it.
So we're currently third. just a little behind Belandel, 0.3 of a second.
Not much between the two of them.
4.4 seconds adrift of Nismax. But Belandel did find a little bit of time.
Just a little bit, yeah.
Found 0.4 of a second. That
and
gap closed from 4.5.
Nismax having another go as well.
Relatively long circuit, 5.5 kilometers. The original length of this circuit in its original state. Track was built in 1930 and was 30 kilometers long. Well, 29.1 kilometers long. 128 turns, and the lap record was an 11 minute 59.
Big moment there for Nismax, back in wanting to step out there. Of course, how's
that for a lap record, Jan? An 11 minute 59 set by a Mercedes in 1937.
That's even slower than the Nürburgring Nordschleife. But yeah, looking at Nürburgring Nordschleife, of course, there's also the original Hockenheim, as well as also the original Austrian. Because both those tracks, the Hockenheim and Austria, were a lot longer. So every time we talk about these longer versions, immediately think of those.
As well as Spa.
Spa is the only one that actually remained the length.
There was a longer version of Spa.
That's it. I recall something like that. But if you look at the track as it is today, it's by far the longest. They obviously cut off from it. They shortened it a bit. But I'm surprised that they actually kept to most of the length, because by far the longest track.
7 kilometers. Just over 7 kilometers. Toki goes second. Nismax. Have we lost Verlandel?
Oh boy.
I believe we've lost Verlandel. That's what Toki is second.
That's it.
And see Verlandel on our list.
No, he definitely disconnected.
He can get back in.
Looks like a lot of guys complaining about the internet tonight. That's also why Gafpick is not with us tonight. Of course, missed last week being out of town. Tonight the internet is not working for him.
Not the start you would want.
Also, always so frustrating having an internet connection, you know, go down on you, if I could put it like that. You want to get in there, you want to race, you want to be part of the action, just to be sidelined because of a bad connection, or whatever the case may be with your ISP on the night.
There's Max back out on circuit. Just over 5 minutes remaining in the session. He's gonna have another go.
And he actually goes faster, 156.6. Now over 5 seconds ahead of the Toki.
Gap between first and second, 5.1 seconds.
But from there on it's relatively close. Okay, Verlander is back. Verlander did manage to rejoin.
And the unfortunate thing is lap time gets deleted. So he needs to go out there and redo that lap time. Obviously, Landel will want to get out on circuit immediately. He does get out on the circuit. Got to put a lap time down. It's 4 minutes remaining. Takes just over, probably takes about 2 minutes to get around here for a warm-up lap. We'll have 2 minutes to go. Or maybe have 2 runs if he does this quickly.
You just see what happened.
Gonna have 2 runs, but he needs to get it right.
That's the thing, you need to be very much on the ball from the word go.
It's a bit of a tough one. You always want to have that cushion, that anchor lap that you said in the beginning. But if you know it's all or nothing, it's this or the back of the grid. It makes things quite difficult. We saw it actually in the last race at the end of qualifying. Nismax and Munna leaving it right to the end to go for their final runs, and they both spun on their final run. So you need that earlier lap time.
That's it, just to put yourself at ease and to calm down. Because
They might not have got their ultimate runs out, but they still got first and second on the grid.
There we go. Sorry, just a slight disconnect there for me. But we're back online.
At least with the F1, it does keep that lap time in there.
The thing is with F1, if you can come back in qualifying before the race, then you'll be fine. You will actually get that position as well what you qualified in already. But
And
of
then
course,
obviously,
if you rejoin after,
what's quite unique is obviously in the race. In this game, if you disconnect, you're done.
you're done.
Formula 1, you can always return.
Yeah, because your car goes and you can actually reclaim your car.
The AI might surprise you though. Might make 3 or 4 pit stops in the next 5 laps.
Chen came in with a nice lap now. Chen just under 4 seconds behind Nismax. Doki also improved his time, which only that 5-second gap is now down to 4 seconds to Nismax. Ooh, some damage on Chen's car. Pushing that out. I see
damage isn't gonna make the car any
run wide.
more easy to drive, and as I say that,
in the kitty litter.
Either that's commentator's curse or it's a prediction. I'm gonna take it as a prediction.
As a prediction, because we saw this before. You don't know the full extent of the damage, of course. A lot of things can actually be damaged.
Belandel's just gonna land up having the 1 run. That first lap time was a 2:05. It's good enough for 5th. Obviously he's a lot quicker than that. So this is gonna be the one.
There's 15 seconds left, so yeah. I see on the stream there the Toki army is growing.
Nice to see. Bringing a lot of support. And welcome to the channel. Anyone who hasn't been here before and anyone who's back, welcome back. Or welcome to Thursday Night Racing.
Of course, season 2. Race 2 tonight, of course, here at Brno. Qualifying is officially completed, just waiting for those guys on hot laps to finish what they laps they're busy with. Because Nismax back in the pits, Chen back in the pits.
He's still out on circuit.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Currently in 3rd.
As we say, he decides to go into the pit. So
sure, you heard that.
So I think he'll be happy with 3rd. Starting from 3rd, okay, and Belandel. Okay, no, for a moment I thought it was Belandel in the pits there, but it was actually
that's the judge.
It was a judge, yeah.
That was the judge in the pits.
But just for that moment it showed Valandel's name there just before the image of Valandel's car came up. Let's see what he managed this time. Oh boy.
Find out soon enough. There we go.
No, and he stays in fifth. He stays in fifth.
Here's your results for qualifying. Nismax takes pole position by 3.8 seconds. Second place you've got Chen, third place Toki, then in fourth the judge, fifth for Landl, and then you've got your AI drivers making up from 6 to 10. So at least nobody will be starting behind any AI. That's that can always be a... Oh wow, there's a lot of Australians on this grid. I just realized there's a lot of Australians on this grid.
A lot of Australian guys, yeah, because, well, if you look at the cars that they're using, yeah, you can understand. I see Valandel's got some... I see Valandel's shows Australia. Surely so, here and Pure should be the other way around.
Yeah, I'm sure Valandel is supposed to have a Dutch flag. Pretty sure he's not Australian.
Definitely not.
Never heard him say mate. So...
No Bruce or Sheila.
Definitely not a Aussie then. Not in my book. And he hasn't tried to sell me sandpaper.
Right, we're just waiting for everybody to sort out the race strategies and stuff. Then we will get into the race. Of course, I also, as I say that, I do recall the coordinator just mentioning a few minutes in between practice and race to give everybody a bit extra time to sort out stuff, and hopefully also for those guys that might have missed practice but can still make the race to join.
Then obviously when we finally do get visuals, you'll also see that the clock will begin to run down, and then that's just final preparations.
Yeah, it's not the actual start of a race. That clock will reset and then the race will be underway.
So just the 5 runners in the race as it stands, unless anybody gets in here at the last minute. But just need to bring it home, can get some good points.
I was just about to say Racing 76 can only be talky. Of course, several of these guys that you see tonight will be competing tomorrow night in the F1 event. Of course, see next season, brand new season starting tomorrow. Of course, season 4 of F1 2019.
You just, I just remembered I haven't practiced.
So, some guys didn't practice anything.
Well, I'm sure you haven't been practicing in an F1 car. You don't have much to say, do you?
I don't need to practice. I've got a lot to say, but I don't need to show my skills on the track.
Oh, I see. Obviously, while we're waiting.
Of course, just on that.
Tomorrow night. That's round 1, China, Shanghai.
Yeah. Like I say, start of season 4. Of course, several of these guys here will be there. Of course, not Fernando, my co-commentator. He's also a driver in that league. Not commentating in that one.
I'll be out on track. I think it's the second time it's ever happened that I'm going to be racing a Merc.
Yeah, it just happened that you in the Merc this season.
Definitely, if anyone thought that I rigged anything, I definitely did not. My intention would not be to land up in a Merc.
Yeah, of course that's not your favorite car. You would rather put yourself in a Ferrari.
Frankly, I would have raced the Williams.
Which some of the Williams drivers were not happy with, but yeah. But yeah, there we go. We get the guys readying up. Finally, we get some pictures. Just as we said, don't mind the clock as yet. The race did not start as yet. This is not a
little controversy coming out of F1 today. Apparently, Martin Brundle voiced his opinion that Claire Williams should step aside to save the failing British team.
Because that team is not making any progress. They're going backwards even more. I mean, from championship winning team to where we are today. So I can understand Martin Brundle's view. And of course, a Brit and the British team.
I say get the this is going to be controversial. Get the greatest team principal ever, Flavio Briatore.
Yeah, Flavio or something else.
Okay, you know what? He was a great team principal. He took it one step too far that one time.
Yeah.
And his name's been tarnished by it. But what he did with Benetton in the 90s was.
It just shows you also what he's done there. It just shows you the guy's mindset, what he's willing to do.
And obviously he was the team principal for Renault's only 2 drivers' titles.
Yeah.
As a manufacturer, anyway.
That's it.
They've got many drivers' titles as an engine supplier.
Of course, Benetton at Renault.
That's just in the 90s. Renault won 92 with Williams, 93 with Williams, 95 with Benetton, 96 with Williams, and 97 with Williams. So 5 times in 10 years.
And of course, he was team principal on more than one occasion. There we go. 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds to go, and we have a go. Wow, what a start from Toki. Nismax very slow away, but Toki actually saw that and he leaped him.
Ooh.
Change position. Oh, contact there, big contact.
Seems like 2 teammates.
Nismax just managed to keep it on track. He was actually rammed from behind. Not sure that was AI.
It's in third, just needs to get his head down, let the race settle down. Knows he's got the pace.
And we've lost
got an AI.
Landel is gone.
Landel is gone. That is disappointing. Like we mentioned earlier, if you leave the lobby, you're done. You can come back as a spectator, but there's no car to take control of.
Nismax going outside. He's past the AI, so he's gonna chase after Toki. So you guys. I see one of Toki's supporters earlier said, yeah, he's looking forward to the battle between him and Judge like last week. So, but tonight looks like he's actually going to take the fight to Nismax. Lightning start there, so let's see what can happen from here.
Judge not having best of starts. Started in 4th, he's down in 6th, but he's got a handful of AI in front of him.
Oh, and as we said, AI clipped him. AI clipped him there.
I was just about to say, and as we know, getting past some of the AI, particularly in this game, can be a bit tricky. I've seen them get really racy, even when they're being lapped. And they make a point that they don't like being fast.
And that's actually one thing as well on F1 that becomes frustrating. AI, and even if you lap him, on the time that they should move over when you lap him, they try to race you. And this match is actually past Toki. Toki now into 2nd. Obviously we'll stay in the slipstream here, try to keep up with Nismax. Of course anything can still happen, we're only on lap 2. Thing is just with Nismax, once Nismax is in the lead, it's not something he gives up very easily.
Chen has made his way past that AI, he's up into 3rd.
He will be chasing after Toki. Of course, you don't want to get these two get away.
Judge in 6th. He's recovered. Back on the AI, trying to get past. So just 4 drivers remain.
That's it, because Landel out.
And then Unfortunately, a bunch of guys having various issues on the night, not being able to make round 2. But a good opportunity for the guys that are here to pick up a handful of points. Obviously the AI do not pick up points, so if we land up having only 3 human drivers and you finish in last, you'll get points for 3rd. Doki in 2nd, that gap grows now to 3.6 seconds. We're on lap 2. Jenna further 3 seconds adrift in 3rd place, and the judge has made his way past those AI. So he's up into 4th place.
Yeah, so we got all 4 human drivers in the top 4.
Gap at the front continues to grow, 4 seconds now. The caution mark there next to judge. Just be careful. Be entering penalty territory.
And last thing you want now so early in the race, because still a long way to go.
Penalties add up, as we saw in the last race, some of the guys getting as much as 20 seconds. I think the leaders had something like 6 seconds each.
Goes wide, kitty letter.
Judge goes wide.
The judge takes 3rd place for now.
Judge goes up into 3rd, and now that battle you mentioned
The
a little
jockey
earlier,
and judge battle that can still happen.
Seems a lot more possible all of a sudden.
Yeah, yes. Because judge is just behind jockey. In a lap or 2's
seconds.
time we might see these 2 guys just like last week. Interesting times. So the jockey supporters can still get their wish. But the judge has definitely saw better days. And he's gaining on Toki. It's under 3 seconds now.
It's a really awkward view there up the hill. You can't actually see that corner.
I see actually Core got disqualified for some reason.
Let's have a look if it says anything. See, his name's no longer on the screen, so it's not going to show us any information. He's out of the lobby.
Exactly.
But quite a strange one.
Ooh, here we go, here we go.
Judge taking a slightly wider line there. Gets a better exit, gets really close now. These 2 were at it constantly in the last race.
And the judge goes on the inside, sprint for the line. Doki stays on the outside. For now he's just in front. He will have the inside into the managed to stay ahead for now. The judge cuts back onto the inside. Slipstream, let's see. Can Doki keep it? So now he's doing so. Of course Nismax is out of sight, so these 2 might enjoy themselves, just have a go at each other.
Seems like Judge is the faster man on track at the moment. He closed the 3-second gap in no time, and staying right there on the gearbox.
Yes, rushing Toki there. Toki finding it difficult to breathe at the moment. all his mirrors will be full of green. I just see actually one of Toki's supporters. He says he's available if drivers are needed. If the guys can't pitch up and there's space available, I can't see why not. You can just, you know, contact us. We are on Twitter as well, and yeah, take it from there. Ooh, Judge on the inside. Can he make it stick? Can we just get a shot from Toki? There we go. Yeah, he's actually ahead of Toki. We're not next to each other.
So Judge up into second place. A bit wide there.
Daniel, doesn't matter if you're in the USA. We actually have guys racing from other countries. I mean, there's Nismak. He's from Qatar. We got Valandel from the Netherlands. So yeah, it's fine. So I can't see why, as long as there's no connection issues, because the biggest issue at the moment is guys that clash with each other, which seems to be a general issue with Project Cars, unfortunately.
Has made things a little bit complicated in the lobbies leading up to the race. Be something that can get ironed out as the season carries on.
The Judge leaving Toki behind, and in the distance you can see Chen coming through.
So your leader, haven't spoken about him much. He's 11.5 seconds up the road. Just doing exactly what he needs to do.
That's it, just keep it clean.
Needs those that full amount of points. Last thing he wants to do is something silly.
Not sure if Toki's got some sort of damage that we might not be aware of, but the Judge is actually leaving him behind.
Don't see any visual damage on the car.
But the Judge is getting away from him. That gap is now actually pretty much bordering 4 seconds.
We know we've seen damage on the car when it's not really there. Maybe we're not seeing damage when it is there.
That's it. It's also possible.
Because
looks like Chen is also gaining.
Have a look, that gap between Chen and Toki, 3.1 seconds. And as I say that, always changing, but he is definitely catching him. As Judge runs away, he's opened that gap to 4.5 seconds. Something not quite right.
Oh, and he goes wide, wheel on the grass there.
Yeah, there's no visual damage on the car, but maybe that's just
that's going to allow Chen to close up even more on him.
No visual damage, but that little clipping the grass there, running wide, that could just be a sign of maybe there is damage.
He's just struggling with the handling of the car.
It's just not turning in the way he wants. Race going well for the Judge. Found himself down the order with a bunch of AI to get past, and managed to do that.
And he's just getting further and further away from Toki, and Nesmak's getting further away from him. Gap in front is actually now pretty much the 14-second margin.
Gap just 2.8 seconds. Between Toki and Chen, this could be a potential battle in the next lap or so. Say lap or so, but it's a 5-kilometer circuit. If you're going slowly, one lap around there will cost you a lot more. Well, he's staying out. It's obviously nothing.
Wat weet die Sorbien van 69 af anyway? No, Judge is actually having still a one here, but it looks like the gap has stabilized a bit. Because Chen not really gaining on Toki. Toki also not falling back from a judge at the moment, so looks like Toki managed to, you know,
Maybe just
get something going again.
maybe something just went wrong. Got the tires cold, got the brakes cold, things weren't working for a couple of laps. Maybe now just finding his feet again. Gap 3 seconds, as it has been for a while between Toki and Chen. And then judge that gap 6 points. Every time I want to read it, it goes up slightly.
Yeah,
So,
just hovering there at the 7-second margin. Ja, genoeg om gevaarlijk te wees, ja.
This Max, he's gotten up to a 14.5 second gap, and it's also sort of stabilized for the most part. Not increasing as much as it did in the first 2 or 3 laps.
There we go, no, that gap is pretty much staying at 7 seconds now. Ooh, and tires flying around again. Someone eating the tire wall. Chen falling back to Toki now as well. Much as Judge is now getting away again, Toki is getting away from Chen. Ooh, and Chen's front bumper is flapping around.
That's not going to be good.
No, that could definitely affect the car's aero.
It's really making a difference. That gap was down at 2 seconds at a stage, then stabilized at 3, now sitting at 4.5 seconds. He does have problems of his own.
Yeah, as Daniel said he likes tires. I think that was definitely the tire wall that he actually collected, hence that front bumper damage. Of course, at this speed, that's enough to cause damage to a bumper, even if it's just tire barrier.
I thought he does not need to worry about his mirrors, just needs to worry about the job at hand. That's trying to close this gap to second place.
And just under 45 seconds, so still a lot of racing to do. Anything can still happen in the front. You don't know what mistakes lies ahead or what, even disconnect or whatever, with people having problems with internet. And yes, I don't want to do the commentator's curse thing, but you never know. That's the one thing, you always keep it on track, persevere. You might actually not see the bigger picture now, but you can always pick up points at the end. And Toki goes wide into the kitty litter. That will bring Chen closer.
That's going to bring Chen right into it.
Yes,
even
definitely.
with that damage, you're coming around these corners with a lot of momentum, while Toki is trying to get
all the hard work he's done there just disappeared in that brief moment. Just pushing too hard, going too deep and running wide, and that cost him. Looks like this Max is in the pit.
Race leader.
Was the judge inherited the race lead with him entering the pit. Of course, Nismax on his way already. Comes out ahead of Chen, just behind Toki.
Comes out after his first pit stop. Must have been a relatively quick pit stop. Doubt he had any damage on that car. It's now behind Toki. Want to get past. Really put the foot down.
So you're going to put Toki under pressure.
To race leader.
As long as Judge can stay ahead. On this Max right there with Toki. Definitely putting him under pressure. And they actually slightly moved away from Chen. But just slightly.
1.4 seconds adrift.
Now he's keeping in touch. Oh, and Toki runs wide again on the grass. Managed to bring it back, but now he's in the deeper end of the corner. Nisbeck will have a better line. Going on the outside.
Now the longer these two battle, the better it is for Chen.
And Chen. Because Judge getting away, Chen chasing them down.
Then you're going to be able, it's going to be able to get closer to this battle even with that damage.
Just a second, just under a second.
And obviously I'm not sure what tires he's got on there, but if he's got the softs on, he wants to get past and get on with it. Toki holds on to second for now. Race leader is the judge. He's been able to increase that gap actually. It was 12 or 13 seconds, 15.4 seconds now the gap.
Of course, while Toki is holding Nismax back, this is where the judge should be pushing, try to make up as much time as possible on Nismax, so when he does make his own pit stop, he's actually going to be closer to him. Nismax thought about it, but decided not to, not at this time at least. Much better entry into this corner now, this time by Toki.
I think he's probably going to be the most careful driver on track right now. As much as he wants to get past,
yes,
damage would just be silly.
Just
he's got the pace to win
fuel,
this.
Safe fuel, safe tires, and once they pit, you push.
If you can't get past for now, I suppose put it in lean, if the term refers to this game as well. I'm not sure, I haven't played it enough. Conserve your fuel, conserve your tires, and either wait for that mistake or let them come in as they naturally will.
Sack Sorbian, you dare spamming this chat with that oak's name?
Definitely not a Hamilton-Vettel situation because neither of these cars have spun.
And neither of these two guys here that we're looking at are divas, like Vettel and Hamilton.
Well, I never thought I'd be commentating on a stream and then it says Hamilton in the comment section.
Well, think about it. In all honesty, you're going to be the Hamilton in season 4 for Merc.
This is true. So it's actually, you know, when back when I was playing sport, and this is a story I don't share very often because I don't like to talk about it. But when I was playing sport, my number was it wasn't 84 as it is now. I changed that because of a certain someone. My number has always been 44. If you go and look at all my old soccer shirts, they're all 44. But yeah, I changed that to my year of birth, 84, because people were thinking of me people were calling me a Hamilton fanboy, and I was not a fan of that. Gap at the front, 16.5 seconds. Toki's still holding on to second place. Nismax close behind.
Judge capitalizing here on this, definitely moving away. Chen falling back, so it's only these two now really going for each other. I see where Daniel said earlier he'll knock on wood for the guys. Of course, one thing that brings us all together, I mean the guys that watch the stream, the support, one thing that brings us together is actually the love for motor racing and of course the passion and enjoyment of sim racing. And there we go, Nismax actually managed to pass, but Toki's not going to let him go back at him. But Nismax going to have the inside.
On the brakes, really deep on the brakes,
the better
went
line.
wide.
There was no two ways about it, Nismax always had the better line.
And that gap at the front has opened up to 17.7 seconds, so if my calculations are correct, that little time that he was behind Toki, that gifted Judge a further 4 seconds.
Chen not happy with the decorations on the side of the road, moving them around a bit.
You've got to give it to whatever's holding that bumper on.
Yes.
Thing's been shaking for laps and laps and laps and it hasn't even loosened.
Probably Bradley steel.
Toki in third, Nizmax in second.
There we go, just as I suspected, that gap to the front is actually gonna start closing a bit. Because now that Nizmax is past Toki, he's obviously gonna get back on it. Push like mad. Yep, that gap just hovering about 17, just under 17 seconds.
Judge holding his own for the time being.
But Nizmax stopped a lot earlier compared to the rest of the field. I mean, no one else has pitted yet.
Just have a look at some lap times. On that last lap, Judge setting a 201.3. Nizmax a 202.8. So that was obviously still with a bit of a battle. And then the best lap of the race so far was set by the man in second, Nizmax, a 1 minute 59.5.
And that gap, as you can see, is coming down definitely now under 16 seconds.
And no penalties to report as of lap 12. 35 minutes remain. We're almost at halfway. Was this
That's one way to put it, Daniel.
Was this something you would have predicted for
the Judge leading? No, no, actually not.
By 16 seconds.
And look, I don't mean any disrespect to the Judge, but looking at the pace, Nizmax, come on, whoever fought Judge ahead of Nizmax. Then again, Judge has proven before he can also jump Nizmax at the start. But yeah, he's actually holding his own, and as much as he disagree with us, he's actually getting faster at this game.
I think most of his problems actually come in F1, but if you've seen him play this game, he's come up with good results a few times.
I think definitely this game is up his alley. Of course, you can't compare yourself to Nizmax at the moment, because come on, Nizmax, the pace he have compared to the rest is just something else. But I mean, the pace that the Judge has gained, that is tremendous. A lot of guys actually from when we started till now, the progress they made.
Absolutely.
I think Daniel will have the answer for us about holding that bumper together. So holding on by the grace of the racing god.
Just holding on. Maybe he's going so fast it won't fall off. just sticking on there.
Thing is when it breaks off and it lands underneath a car.
I tell you, that's definitely not a Renault bumper.
Well spotted, Daniel. Unfortunately, we have lost Toki. Looks like a disconnect.
Another disconnect. Fortunately, I didn't spot that. Thanks for letting us know. Very disappointing. Just the 3 drivers remain.
And he wasn't the happiest camper earlier today, speaking about internet. And I can tell you now, he's not going to be happy now. You can only imagine the language he's playing at the moment.
Not going to leave him impressed in the slightest. Just 3 drivers remain, so internet connections holding together. If you bring your car home, you're going to be on the podium and you're going to get some decent points for the Thursday night. Nizmax, that gap at the front between Judge and Nizmax was hovering at 17 seconds. It has begun to peel off and peel off dramatically. It's 12 and a half. Sorry, 12 and a half. If it was 2.5, that, wow, I don't know what he did, but
well, soon it might be.
In the time it took me to say that, he's found another half a second, and that gap is at 12 seconds.
Going at this rate, it will probably soon be 2 seconds. Chen falling further back to Nismax. Nismax, of course, chasing after the judge. Nismax making that early pit stop, all the rest of the field still to pit. And looking at the time remaining, and of course when he put, it looks like he's definitely going to stop twice, where the likes of the judge and Chen might be pushing for one stop, which is also why Chen wouldn't have pitted as yet for that damage, trying to hold out till his actual pit window.
Was obviously also why with the battle with Toki, Nismax was pretty tentative. We saw him think about it a few times that amounted to nothing. And maybe that was his thinking. He's going to do a two-stop, and a two-stop strategy does not involve one of those pit stops taking a really long time because you're fixing damage.
As I say, Nismax comes back into the pit.
They need to be splash and dash. And he didn't want damage to be involved, so he's kept it clean. Our judge will go further on into the lead of this race.
Very strange strategy. Unless he picked up some damage that we might have missed. But he's actually pitted a second time before the other guys have pitted.
That promotes Chen up into second place, so he's gotten past as well. Don't think Nismax has to worry about any AI. We're about a minute down the road. So he will come out in third. Well, we should have put money on it. If we could have put money on it, this would have been an amazing bet. with 30 minutes remaining, okay. We're not talking about AI, okay. But with 30 minutes remaining, Nismax is stone last, and Judge leads the race by half a minute.
Whoever would have seen that one coming.
Oh, you don't want to do that. I almost left the session.
Ooh.
So, it's pretty silly that it just takes one button. And the confirm button's right next to it. That was pretty close.
You see, and
we
that
almost lost visuals there to the Czech Republic.
Actually caught out a couple of guys before. I think that might have costed Valandel that he didn't ready up early enough. Maybe that's why he got DQ'd. Because this game is also something else if you take your time trying to ready up, etc. Speaking about the judge, race leader for the last couple of laps.
Leads this race, 30 minutes remaining on the clock. He leads for 30 seconds. He's obviously going to have to come into the pits. Don't know there's a few drivers that do listen to the commentary, so we no longer bring up the speedo on the screens. I've been told that I messed up a few people's strategies once or twice.
Yeah, because some guys listen to the stream for that input.
But obviously, very, very different strategies here between Judge and Nismax. Nismax has come in for 2 stops, whereas, if I'm not mistaken, Judge is yet to stop. Now Chen into the pits.
Chen finally makes his stop.
And his pit crew are well, not quite sure what's happening there, but they're glitching out on my screen.
Glimping.
Oh yeah, you see whatever I see, so...
Correct.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I don't know, they're probably going to take over that Pratley steel and replace it with some quick tight or something. A whole new bumper, maybe.
He's on his way, and I don't know if the bumper looks too fantastic. Wait until it gets out on that bumpy circuit, and yeah, speed. No, they did a terrible job with that bumper.
Oh no, it's still hovering, we didn't even touch it.
That was a couple of tar downs, and they didn't even bother to, well, really tighten them. So, made in China tar downs.
Duct tape could have even helped, but yeah. Nismax now back into second, 38 seconds behind the judge.
That's 38 seconds. I believe if this were F1, Judge would be able to regain the lead with a pit stop. We have no idea how long his pit stop will take, how much fuel he needs to put in. Race just over 50% distance.
Of course, that's a good point that you brought up just now. Fuel age. Clearly, by the looks of it, the judge was on a heavier fuel age compared to Nismax. So was a lot of other guys, and Nismax went light.
He's done more than 50% of this race on the same set of tires with whatever fuel he had in that car, so he must have been running quite heavy.
I just want to do a quick shout out to Mrs. Judge. Clearly she's actually the change in luck. Because come on, what else has changed in the last couple of weeks? Because he's driving the wheels of that car and he's actually keeping it on track.
Doing a great job. That gap was 37 seconds, 35. So not coming down by much. He's holding his own.
According to my calculations, there might actually still be a possibility of Nismax having to stop again. He wasn't stationary that long and there's still another 25 minutes.
Should we peak at fuel loads without saying a word?
Maybe just a quick, but yeah, let's say nothing while it's only for other viewers. We don't want the drivers to know about it.
There we go. And yeah, that's clearly a difference.
Nismax might actually now be filled to the end. Chen as well, but Chen, yeah. So that's going to be interesting, but then again, we don't know why that second stop of Nismax so short. It was actually relatively short after the first one. Unless he decided to change it on the go. Of course, what happened with him stuck behind Toki, and maybe he decided to pit and finish in Clark. And what you're on now is pushing till the end of the race. Then he might have had enough fuel to start with. Of course, just stopped up while he stopped. Which obviously would also explain why he was shorter than what would be anticipated. Nismax still taking out time.
Now this is a bit of a problem when you...
There we go, AI being lapped. AI being lapped and they're all racy.
See, AI not just backing off there down the straight. Obviously getting by pretty easily there into the corner, but down the straight, going side by side, the AI just doesn't seem to just back off. So... For a second I thought that was for position, but it wasn't. There is an AI car in third place.
Yeah, of course, Chen currently sitting in fourth.
That would be Toki's teammate. And then the broken Ford. Going around in fourth. Gap at the front just drops below 30 seconds. As I say that, I think judges had an off because I was looking at the gap and all of a sudden there was a second and then two. The gap now 25 seconds, and remember it's going to take a while just to get that momentum back, get that temperature back.
Up again. Correct.
And then obviously when there's an incident like that, you're more angry with yourself than anything else, so you've just got to get it out of your head and focus on the corner ahead of you. If you let it get to you, the next couple of laps aren't going to be any good. Starts to come into the pits. That gap 20 seconds as he crossed the pit line.
No, then Nismax will definitely he already gained the lead.
No question about it. See,
and
bit of fuel going in.
The judges' crew's actually limping even worse.
No, that doesn't look good at all. That looks sort of... Oh wow. They're actually putting in quite a lot of fuel, it seems. A lot more than I expected.
I mean, it's only 22 minutes to go.
Nismax has retaken the lead of this race, and rightfully so. Led it for most of the start. Obviously started in pole, didn't get into turn 1 in first. As in race 1, your pole sitter did not get into turn 1 in first.
In the first position, yes.
And well, we've seen a spin from
Nismax now with a mishap. The judge will like this, because now the judge is gaining on him.
This will bring Judge back into it slightly.
There's a proof I've been talking about earlier. Anything can happen.
Just a silly mistake. You've been having a perfect race. You've had no damage on that car, and it just takes one misstep.
And we saw that now from the judge and from Nismax. Literally a lap apart.
Obviously, when Judge had his spin, cost him a good 5 or 6 seconds. And that's what the gap is right now, 6 seconds. So they would have been...
And yes, got the AI again to battle with. Oh, and there's contact. AI really pushing him.
That's not going to help the situation.
Gap is under 7 seconds. The judge is pushing.
Obviously, Judge will also have to get past any AI that Nismax encounters. You see, just 5 seconds down the 5 seconds down the road. Thought I read that wrong, but he's closing this gap. He's doing a good job. Nismax has gotten into a bit of a tussle with the AI there that he probably didn't want.
Not sure if he picked up damage or something, but the judge is gaining on him. There we go, just saw Judge in the background.
There we
Under
go.
5 seconds.
They're on the same straight with an AI in between them. Hopefully Judge can get past that AI unscathed. They do have a bad history of being a bit racy. And to make it look worse, it's the guy in dead last.
Yeah. And on 2 occasions he gave Nismax a hard time. I don't think he's going to make it any better for the judge either.
Keep our eyes on the judge as he
Unless the judge paid him
closer
something.
to that car. You never know. Good thought about it, and he just dives down the inside.
And he did. That's the way to go.
Thought about it.
You don't want to fight with him too
see
long.
if the gap was there. Saw the gap was there and said, right, I don't need a second invitation. And he's on his way. He was able to get past that car unscathed, a lot better than Nismax was a couple of laps ago. And that gap just 2.3 seconds.
The judge actually the faster of the two at the moment.
I'm not sure when was the last time I commentated on an endurance race that in the closing stages 2 cars are in the same shot.
It looks like Nismax is struggling to get away from the judge.
Gap 1.8 seconds.
Gap now under 2. Yeah, there we go. That close.
So Judge is pressing triangle for DRS, but it's just not working. Could really use DRS now. If we're getting into that zone, 1.9 seconds is the gap. Go, there they are, your leaders, in the same shot.
Ooh, AI coming out there in the corner.
Both of them getting past, no, not both. Judge behind that AI. Nismax managing to just get past.
Just allows for Nismax to have a bit of breathing, some breathing space for now. Of course, the judge would like to get past this guy as quick as he did with the other AI. Looks like he's going to manage.
Not sure what happened there, but that AI car just lifted off the ground slightly. Not sure if that was any lag of any sort, or I hope it was in contact, but don't see anything visual on that car. I'm not sure we can trust the visual damage in tonight's lobby.
That's cheating. I mean, if you look at the visuals, The judge's car looks worse for wear compared to Nismax, but yet that's the faster car at the moment.
1.5 seconds is the gap. Longer 2 seconds, it is coming down. As I say that, it goes back up, so thanks for that.
Nismax started to find his space again.
Soon we'll be entering the last quarter of this race. That gap 1.1 seconds. And now the AI really taking its toll. And if this trend can continue, and Judge can get by relative...
yes.
That's exactly what I was about to say. If the trend continues of Judge just getting past the AI a lot easier.
I was about to say the same thing.
And,
he manages to just pick them off a lot quicker than Nismax.
And almost each time it happens, like on that occasion he picked up 6/10 from that pass.
Huge gain.
Gap to 6/10 of a second, and seems like the Judge is really in tune with these V8 cars around Brno. No, this was when this was a 30-kilometer track. It wasn't basically all circuit as you see now. Half of it was cobblestone, and it was in town up the road. Parts of it were a GP circuit, and parts of it were very monogalette.
With a much tighter line, having to brake, otherwise he would have rammed the back of Nismax there.
Last thing he wants. This is now a battle for the lead. With just 15 minutes remaining, this is now the final quarter of the race. And who would have thought these two battling for the lead? With Judge in a car that is seeming superior at this time. Wonder if that spin caused any damage.
Catch, I think.
But like I've said before, I can't see anything.
Of course, from that shot again, his car looked a lot better for wear.
And now
the Judge is going to try to have a look at the outside. And he's just getting a much better drive out of the corners, even on the outside.
It's side by side, and technically he's
leading
this race. He's got his nose in front.
He's got it.
There we go.
Can Nismax counter? Answer is no for now.
The Judge leads.
How the Judge will feel the pressure from Nismax, the other way around. Well, Nismax can have a look on the inside. Judge is saying new.
Comes back at him immediately. Judge does not make it easy, holds on.
Nismax had to get on the brakes there, having the tighter line. There was nowhere to go, so you had to brake. Yes, Daniel, that's actually correct. It's been a nail-biter, and it actually came from nowhere.
Really did come from nowhere.
I mean, when the Judge had the e-spin, or running wide, all of a sudden Nismax was, gaining.
Missing so many of
it looked like he's gonna run away with it again, just to spin himself. So yeah.
Missing a handful of our favourites on the day, and thought Nismax would be having a relatively easy Thursday night, and Judge has stepped up to the plate and made quite a race of it. 12 minutes remain. See when that clock hits 0, they will then finish the lap that they are on. So actually in the last race, I think Dirk got over the line with a second to go and had to do another lap.
Yeah.
Just 1 or 2 seconds to go. Obviously not thinking about that at the time. Wanting to get over the line. I'm lazy, so I would have been very aware of that time.
Slow down on purpose just to let the time run out.
Oh, definitely. If I have to slow down and cost myself a second or two for slowing down, I'm fine with that. If I go for the extra lap and lose it, I'm not going to be impressed. Gap at the front, half a second. Judge holding his own, but not running away from Nizmax. Wonder if Nizmax is just doing exactly what he needs to. Stay close behind.
I still think Nizmax is in a better position. It's always easier to follow than to lead. Because you can copy the guy, you can mirror everything you do. It's always difficult to look back in your mirrors. And of course, looking at your mirrors, you don't concentrate. And as I say, the judge runs wide. Probably looked in his mirrors.
That's the, you know, that's the thing. Is like when you're behind, you're the attacker, and when you're ahead,
Judge was
you're the defender.
Of it, then decided against it because his line was just too tight. There would have been contact. But it's like he's much more brave on the brakes into the corners.
Seen that as he's gotten by most of the AI actually in the corners, just diving down the inside and not thinking twice about it. And now Nizmax coming up against an AI again. This time it's
oh, and Judge is just going to go.
Teammate.
Yep. Judge is just going.
He went for it. I saw a cone flying across the gravel.
He wants nothing with his AI tonight.
Wants nothing to do with it. Not interested in their story.
He's just got eyes for one car, and that's Nizmax's car. He don't care about AI.
And now we'll always hear about the night that Judge terrorized the gearbox of Nizmax.
Ooh, and the judge has got a penalty now. They're a bit too happy on those apex of the corners. 1 second. Oh, it's going to have a look on the inside. Oh, Nizmax runs a bit wide there. Here we go.
Got really on the, hugged the curb, hugged the apex, stayed on the inside.
But now he's going to have to
ran wide.
He's going to have to push to work that second penalty off.
Sure, he'll be aware of that 1 second penalty, and it'll be playing on his mind. It's not going to be enough to finish ahead on circuit. He's going to have to finish ahead by a certain amount of time. So he'll be hoping Nizmax can get one of his own to cancel it out. Just under 10 minutes remaining. Lap time around here taking approximately 2 minutes. That tells me, what, four or 5 laps?
That's it, about 4.
4 or 5 laps remain. Currently on lap 25, so this race will come to an end. Lap 29, lap 30, somewhere there. And these two are still at it. The gap now is 0.6 of a second. Obviously, he's got that penalty. The leader, Judge, got a 1 second time penalty. So that gap is going to have to be greater than 1 second in order for him to win this race. It's not going to be enough as it stands. Just half a second. As I say that.
Actually jumps to a second. He might actually be able to counter that, provided he doesn't get any further penalties.
Still 8 minutes to go. This will be the longest 8 minutes.
For the judge, definitely.
I think for anyone who has to lead a race with 8 minutes remaining, with Nizmax a second behind you, that's going to be a stressful couple of laps. Unless you're Munna. He seems to enjoy that. But, I have no interest in having Nizmax in my race. It's way too stressful.
I think another person who's going to be shouting the judge big time is Munna. Of course, with him winning, Nizmax will get less points, which obviously will be good to Munna.
Take a couple of points away. That gap 1.1 seconds, 1.2, so if things finished like this right now, win by 0.02 of a second. Just enough to get it done. Toki just commenting there in the comment section, definitely sweating I'm sure he is. He's probably not even swearing as much as usual. I think everything has just shut down and is operating the concentration.
He's definitely driving to impress for missus tonight.
Because this is it's impressive today.
AI again.
Just getting involved, the AI getting involved. That gap was almost 2 seconds. Getting in his way, finally gets by. Look at that, the gap 1 second flat basically. Now
This time Nismax actually made quick work of the AI. For once it was the other way around. Nismax got past easier than Judge.
That gap 1.8 seconds again. Keeping it at that rate, 6 minutes remaining on the clock.
Chucky, he can't think about his favorite phrase at the moment. He's so locked in and concentrating on this race.
Absolutely no time to swear. I think his mind just doesn't have the time to go there. Can't even.
Last thing you want now is to think about anything else in this last 5 minutes. Make sure you don't cut any more corners.
2.2 seconds the gap. As I say that, it dives down again. It's live timing, really difficult to comment on. Thanks for all the
Oh, Judge with a mistake, pushing it too hard, and it's again that same corner that cost him the lead a few laps ago. Just came out too hard and he ran wide.
Not enough for Nismax to take the lead for now, but crucially remember that 1 second penalty. The gap half a second at the moment. Just needs to get his head down, just needs to concentrate. 5 minutes remain.
Just build up a gap and don't make any mistakes again.
I think they're going to get around for another 3 laps. There's 4.5 minutes remaining on the clock. Probably get around with 20 seconds remaining and then have to do a 3rd lap. Bring us up to a total of 30. And he's doing just enough at the moment. 1.2 seconds is the gap.
Okay, Mr. Director, can we just get a confirmation there from penalties again, that just to confirm it didn't increase? There we go, thank you. 1 second still it is.
Have a look at that. Have a look at the 2 fastest lap times of the race. They're first and second, the only 2 men in the 1:59. So it's impressive stuff. Nismax currently lapping faster on that last lap. It was obviously the AI that affected things. Judge doing just enough, 1.1 seconds. Literally hanging on to the lead of this race by 1/10 of a second.
So
as things
well,
stand.
This should be the penultimate lap. Just one more probably to go after this. Like you said, there's almost 2 minutes a lap. First time he went clean through there, don't want to off again. Twice he had his hard work undone there.
It's when it's happened to me in a race, in several races, where you'll spin at a corner more than once, and then every time you approach that corner in a race, you approach it differently than you should. You second guess that corner, and you'll second guess it till the end of the race. You're never going to dive in there the way you did the time you lost it. Gap, just as I was about to read it, when I was about to read it, it was 1 second, 0.001. So that ended right there. He would have won the race by 1,000. 1.3 now, 1.4, just hovering. Could be a real Timo Glock if he just managed to close that second in the last 2 corners. For the time being,
Sorry
1 second.
guys, sorry.
It's
I'm saying to
9
this,
10.
I'm saying to this battle, yeah, I didn't press buttons or anything. Sorry guys.
It's 9 tenths, 1.1 seconds. It's really hovering. You don't know which way it's gonna go.
This is last lap. 1 minute 52. This is definitely going to be the last lap.
Will be the last lap. It will bring the lap distance up to 30 laps around the track of Brno.
Nesmax just will push to try to keep that gap under a second, while Judge is pushing to make sure it stays over a second to counter that penalty. This corner, of course, it costed him twice. It brought that gap down to under a second. Of course, once before in this match, that's reclaimed the lead because of that. What can he do? Can the Judge push his last few corners?
You mess up at a corner more than once. Like I say, you're always going to go into that corner just a little bit more on the brake than you would. He's run wide. He's run wide, and that could be it. Depends how long it's going to take him to get back on it. It's holding on for now. 7 tenths of a second is the gap.
He's back on it again. He brought it back to under a second again.
Thought that was going to cost him more than it did. And really, this live timing is killing me. I don't know how it's going to end. It's going to really come down to who gets the better exit on the final corners.
Well, gap open up to 2 seconds. Nesmax slowing down. Dramatic slowdown there. 2 seconds.
Well, there we have it. Seems like 2.1 now, but I think that's it. Yes, it is. There we go.
Yeah, the Judge will
round 2, season 2 in Brno, and race winner
for Judge.
That's the Judge. Nesmax comes over the line now in second, and we just have our third driver, Chen.
Unfortunately, Chen didn't get much airtime in this last 20 minutes or so because of Nesmax and the Judge.
Unfortunately, we just had the 3 drivers remaining in the lobby, and 2 of them were at each other's necks. So, sorry about the coverage, Chen, but promise you the internet did definitely see a lot of your broken bumper.
True that, Daniel.
And it's still broken.
He did put on
some serious tie-downs.
Oh, the Judge had 2 second penalty. Yo.
We didn't see that, but that must have been in the final corners of the race, because we still checked up on that pretty late on in the race. And so just to confirm, fastest lap of the race was
still at 1:59.2 from Nesmax.
And then obviously second fastest lap of the race was at 1:59.9. The only 2 in the 1:59s. And that's that. So there we have it, round 2, season 2, Thursday night racing. There's your results. At least I don't have to read them real quick this time, because there's only the 3. Judge wins tonight by, that was pretty close.
Yeah, 1 second.
But he wins by second. Nesmax finishes in second, and that actually disappeared a lot quicker than I thought. Luckily I've got the stream on and it's slightly delayed, but I'm not going to have to read through all those names because we don't care who they are.
Correct.
So that's that for round 2. Thank you everybody to watch. I'm going to say goodbye from my side and leave you with Johan. I'll see you next week for round 3. I haven't checked the calendar, so I'm not going to mention where round 3 is. I'll leave that to Johan. Enjoy.
Guys, thank you so much for joining. Thanks for the support, of course. A lot of support tonight. Tremendous response on the chat. Guys, of course, next week, same time, same place. it will be Donington Park next week. So we're back in Britain, this time just for Donington. And Donington will be the GP circuit. Till then, you guys must have a good time, stay safe, leave your racing for PS and not on the street, unless of course you go to a track or a designated piece of track. Take care. Cheerio.
Enjoy, guys.